On this episode of the Behind the Mask podcast show, Tutan and I sit down and we recap the Verzuz battle. Jeezy versus Gucci. Who had the hardest classics? Who won? Who got the best of who? Last but not least, listen, we all people of status. And so what happens when you see a person of status become intimidated because he sees his celebrity crush? Oh, man, make sure you stay tuned and listen. My call to action to you is this. Follow, share, subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification button, the bell at the bottom. And it's imperative that you do this. Tell a friend to tell a friend, because that's the only way we're going to keep spreading the love.
Let's go behind the mask.
Welcome back to another edition of the Behind the Mask podcast. I am your host, Takeo Spikes. And man, I got to bring in my player partner, better known as Tutan, but he usually goes by
your favorite plus size model, Tutan Reyes, in the building.
Plus size model, what's happening, bro?
Slow motion in the ocean, baby. Another day in paradise, man.
So no.
What's good with you, though?
Man, I had a pretty good weekend, bro. You know, good weekend. And, I paused because I'm just thinking about everything that I did. But the thing that really sticks to me is that the Verzuz battle out of Jeezy and Gucci. Like me being a Georgia native and actually hearing like their music from like day one, underground, and then seeing them make it to the mainstream stage, the evolution, the growth, the tragedy that all came behind it, bro. Like, that Verzuz battle was it was some good shit overall, bro.
Yeah, man.
It was epic.
It was definitely dope. And we look forward to that platform because you see some of the people that we grew up listening to. And you talked about being a Georgia native, but even as a New York native that lives in Atlanta, man, Jeezy, when we was in the league, Jeezy and Gucci, they was running the airwaves, man. Like I'm self-admitted, love Magic City, and that's where the Verzuz was held at. But that's all we used to listen to, and I spent a lot of money in Magic City because of Jeezy, man. My financial advisor used to be like, "What's this PEF Entertainment or whatever it's called?" That that's what comes on your credit card statement. And I'm like, "Wow." He's like, "Whatever you're doing, you need to stop doing that because you're spending way too much money in there."
Hey, but what your response was? Look, man, but it's Gucci and Jeezy though.
Listen, man, it's something about their music around that time that just made you feel like.
I was super geek, cash flowing, money flowing, yeah, that's a super week. Got him for the.
Y'all got it. Y'all talking about throwing it away. I'm throwing it away. I'm spending it too. You know what I'm saying? But obviously they paper way longer than mine. But yeah, that battle was incredible. The crazy part though, to your point, everything, the tragedy behind it, I don't know if I could have been in the same room as somebody that, and I don't know the story verbatim, but allegedly attempted to they said Jeezy allegedly had Gucci set up to get robbed. So I don't know, man. That's difficult to be able to sit in the room years later. And I commend them on the maturity, but I couldn't do it.
No, I mean, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard, right? Because like you said, just recapping, even going back, and like you say, we live here, we've been here.
Yeah.
We Atlanta natives at this point now,
right.
Somewhat. But the fact of, supposedly people said Jeezy had somebody out of his camp. They ran up, tried to rob Gucci, and then Gucci in self-defense protected himself, murdered him. And now all of this comes back full circle when you look at this Verzuz battle. And to your point, though, it's like, it's real because, like, I just think of, like, not even at that level or to that degree, which we've been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, how many times have you, even just being on the team, I think a lot of times the misconception really comes into where people look at it like, well, you know what, like just because you guys play on the same team or you play in the NFL together they feel like, oh, you should be tight or it should be a brotherhood, which in all reality is not really like that until you actually work together to accomplish that common goal. That's how that bond is being made. But when you see people come on your team, I guess I ask you, like, have you had like a big discrepancy or something, like somebody who you know you really don't mess around with, bro? Like I don't rock with him. I don't really fuck with him because he ain't in my circle. Like,
yeah.
And you had how did you have to deal with that, or how did you deal with that?
I think for me, two different scenarios is you have people when you get on a football team as a rookie or as a younger player, you got your veterans on there that are established, that live in that whatever city it is. They, know the lay of the land, they run the show or whatever. So as a rookie, you're almost trying to fit in or find your way, I should say, as opposed to fitting in. You'll have people that take you under their wing and say, young pup, this is the ropes. Then you got those people that hate because you might have a little bit of shine, like yourself. You was a first round pick. So I'm pretty sure there was people that hated on you because of your status coming into the league. For me, I wasn't a first round pick, but at the same time, socially, I was known in Atlanta and Houston and Miami in my early days just for, hanging out. You know what I mean? And of course, in the league, that's not necessarily what you want. You want to be known and respected for what you do on the field. But for me, because I wasn't playing in the beginning, my agent was connected. I was partying. So I had to respect off the field. But you had older dudes that would come up and hate on you like, oh, I don't even know why you messing with Tu. He ain't got no real money. I'm in a Pro Bowl and, and I could do this and do that for you. And when they get back to me, I'm sitting there looking at dude like, yo, fam, we go in the war together. We in the locker room and this the type of individual you are. So I think for me, more so, I distance myself from people. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really into the drama. I'm like positivity or nothing, but I kind of distance myself. And another quick scenario, it was a cat I grew up with. And when I made it to the league, one of the things my mother told me, she was like, yo, you cannot take everybody with you on this journey. There's no possible way. People gonna fall off to the wayside. It is what it is. And I had one of my closest friends growing up actually take bread from me. And when I asked him about it, he just continued to lie and make up these stories about what happened to the money. And then I finally caught up to him and checked him.
Was he a teammate though?
This wasn't even a teammate. This is like somebody that I grew up with. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that I love, that I would have, and the amount of money that he took, I've lost that amount of money, speaking of Magic City, hanging out, partying in Magic City. That kind of money fell out my pocket that he was taking from me. And it's like, yo, bro, all you had to do was ask. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I just distanced myself. And I had people that, not on Gucci and Jeezy's level, but I had people that ran up on him like, yo, Tu, we got him. What you want us to do? I'm like, nah, let him go. I'm like, what? I'm like, nah, let him go. It's cool. Like, I don't want that negative energy. For me, positivity or nothing. But you got to be mature to be able to walk away from that type of situation. And I don't know about you, bro, but like I said, I don't know that I could have sat in the room with to this day, I don't really speak to that dude. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if I could have sat in the room with someone that has wronged me. And I don't wish him no harm, no negativity. I'm cool. But I don't need that energy around me in my inner circle. So I flip the question to you, like, how do you deal with a situation like that when somebody that wronged you, would you let that person back in your life or be around them or be able to do, Verzuz or be in the same room with them after all these years when you feel like it was some sort of issue with y'all in the past?
Nah, bro, you know what? It's a good question because, when I look at that and I see like, man, it took a lot of intestinal fortitude for both of them to get up there and not act a fool. You know what I mean? But they realized what was at stake. And it was for the greater of the good of all people. You know what I mean? Especially for the culture.
It's like this, bro. I extended my hand because I'm a real man. And the shit we came from in the street, dog, you seen it, we've been through it, dog. 20 years. And when I said I wanted to do this shit for the culture, that's what I wanted to do. I brought you here to show you the world care about what the fuck we got going on because we are the culture. You feel me? Me and you. Where we came from. What we been through. Us. Me and you. All these kids out here doing what the fuck they do because they saw what went on with us, dog.
But I'm gonna take you back to this story. I had this dude one time, early in my career. He was like, look, Spikes, he got me. You know what I mean? He got me for 10 bands. And he was like, hey, bro, like, trust me, like me and my old lady going through something. She mad. She just froze the account. It was some fraud or something. Listen, I'm talking about he was a professional liar. Like, bro, he could go around and hold up. He could put up seminars. This is how good he was, like a scam artist. And so he got me. I ended up, he was like, if you give me the 10 bands, I'm going to give it back to you. And I'll have it back to you by, end of the season. This was like halfway through the season already. And I'm like, all right, you get paid the same day I get paid.
Right.
So I'm good. So long story short, when it came time, he was like, I'm going to straighten you, on the last day when we get ready to leave. Man, this Negro here went up and packed up everything. And he skipped this exit meeting with the coach. So then now I'm hanging around waiting. I'm like, hey, where he at? And everybody was like, man, he been left. He ain't showing up. He never shows up. He was a vet. So he got me. So lo and behold, let me tell you how this story comes around full circle. So I wanted to beat his ass. And that's exactly what I was going to do. So then the next year we came back. Before we even came back, they cut it. 2 years later, I go to another team. He gets signed with the team. They ask him to come, come on. Hey, Spikes, you know him? I know of him. But you played? Nah, I know of him.
Yeah.
I don't really rock with him like that. So what are you saying? He's a bad dude? So for me, it was like, to me, I felt like that was that moment to where I probably really could have got him cut, but I chose not to. I was like, I'm going to get my bread first before we get cut. You know what I'm saying? So he came in and he spoke to him. I'm like, look, bro, you ain't no speaking, bro. Like tomorrow when you come in here, you bring me my bread. Like bring it. I need that. So, then he came up with the sob story. Man, training camp, we ain't making that much. Everybody plays for free. What they give you in training camp? About $1,000, what, $1,500 a week?
Yeah, if that.
Yeah, like that's another story for another day. Yeah. But like in a training camp, all right, I'm getting ready to collect. In my mind, I already had in my mind, like, bro, like I'm gonna get my money even if I gotta take it from him, or I'm gonna make sure it comes back in different ways. So, bro, that next morning I'm going to bed the night before. Next morning, I already got the plan in my head. This is what it's gonna be. Ain't nobody gonna stop me. I don't even care. I didn't tell nobody.
Yeah. So you was ready to risk it all for your bread at this point.
Oh yeah, I was. But it was stupidity. I was about to risk it all over stupidity. Yeah. You know what I mean? But what happened, what really kind of like saved it, is that morning when we came in, I was waiting on him. He never showed up. Guess what happened? He got cut.
Got cut.
You know what I mean? And then something resonated with me in my mind, and it was like, man, you was about to risk it all, to your point. Yeah. I was about to risk it all. Like I'm talking about, I was like hands, altercation. Like we was gonna get physical.
Yeah.
And but he didn't. But it proved to me that at the end of the day, man, God don't like ugly. Yeah. Like, man, like it's only a few things in life like you just ain't gonna forget. And one of them is if you borrow money from somebody, you know when you owe somebody.
That's a fact.
That's a fact, right? So, but I'm thankful I was able to get through it, not even have that altercation. But I damn sure was looking forward to it, though. To be
and like I said, our stories ain't nowhere near on the level of what, Jeezy and Gucci went through, experienced in their own relationships and their own lives. Again, I'll commend them at the end of the day for bridging the gap for the public. With you got 2 million viewers, people watching, and you have the platform to take it in a positive direction or continue to harp on negative things in the past. And I think what I was saying was you got somebody that's 40 and 43 years old, families, businessmen, millionaires, fake teeth. You know what I'm saying? They on a whole nother level now, and they're showing that they're not going through, or their mental is not the same way as it was in their 20s. Like our mental is not the same way as it was in our 20s, and we in our 40s now. You know what I'm saying? So I can appreciate that as two alpha males that sat there and kind of just went through it for whatever the reason was. For entertainment, for money, for the culture, for themselves. I think they did what they were supposed to do for the culture. And you were saying this, they did something that other artists didn't have an opportunity to do in the past.
Nah, they didn't, bro. And I'll say this just to make sure everybody hears it. Man, they had an opportunity and they took advantage of the opportunity to do something that Tupac and Biggie didn't do. They didn't make amends by the time that they were gone. You know, like these cats back in the day, they were living that, and they still do live that life to this day. But Jeezy whole mindset is totally different. Obviously, Gucci too, because it takes two to be able to do something like this. But these guys understood and they understand what has happened in previous history. Yeah. And they know, like you said, 2 million people looking. We got an opportunity to either one, enhance our brand and continue to make this bread and make great music for our followers, or two, we can go up here and act a fool, get the shooting, slap each other, fighting. And so now when people talk about the generational curse, man, I come from the school to where I've always thought, and I was always taught, you can't be what you don't see. And I truly felt like they displayed, Jesus even spoke about it. Man, I extended the olive branch to Gucci. Gucci accepted it because he understood big picture. What is it all about at the end of the day? Why do you do what you do? Jeezy even said, I heard him in an interview after the fact. He was like, look, at the end of the day, I understand I got to go on and perform work, put on the show. But when I finish, I'm going home to see my daughter. All that other bullshit don't matter. And so when I say, what did they do for the culture? Man, it was huge because it goes back to you can't be what you don't see. I think more than anything, you see cats who are in the streets. You see cats who are into like, you know what? You do me wrong, I'm going to do you wrong, and I'm trying to take your life. I felt like these guys used that elevated platform for 2 million people who were watching. Yeah. And they said, this is how we're going to use that platform. Make amends. We ain't got to be best buddies, but we got to understand that this is way bigger than us. And the only way that we can contain it and make it into what we want to is to show people, you know what? He may shit it on me. I may shit it on him. But we're able to move on and understand what the greater focus is.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's the crazy part too, because, you know, even in the locker room, you have people, I think, have the misconception that just because you're teammates, you got to be best friends. Like, think about this. There's no possible way that you can be best friends or be close friends or even friends with 53 other people in your locker room. You know what I'm saying? No possible way. Different backgrounds, different races, different political beliefs, different religions. There's no possible way. But what you got to do is respect each other. Yes. You have to find a way to respect each other. And that way you can be on the same plane, moving to a common accord or a common goal. And I think that's what was so dope about what I saw the other night with Gucci and Jeezy. But I was saying about the alpha male thing because it's crazy. You saw them operating and neither one of them were backing down, regardless of what it was. No one looked intimidated. No one looked, like they were backing down. They were standing firm, right? And the same thing on a football field as a bunch of alpha males. You go out there, you have to be confident in everything you do, every step you make, every play call, every execution. You know what I'm saying? You have to be so confident because if you slow and you are not comfortable, confident, ready to react, that's when you get injured. That's when you mess up a play or whatever. You don't stick to your technique. So being the strong people we were when we played, making millions of dollars, everything afforded to you that you wanted in the world.
You think you're invincible though, bro. You're invincible, but the courage, the bravado, the chest, everything.
There. But for me, and this is funny, so I ask you, like, that's on the field, right? Some of that translates to off the field as well. But has there ever been a situation where off the field you were like, yo, I'm not the same Takeo Spice that's stopping people, sacking quarterbacks, knocking over running backs? Has there ever been a situation where you're like, you got a little bit intimidated off the field, man?
Two.
Your silence says it all.
The silence says it all. Oh my goodness. I do have a story for you though. And I've always been a person, you know me, I'm strategic. If I believe it, I feel like I can achieve it.
Right.
And I write it down, I'm going to get it. So oh man, this is a good one. So my rookie year, this is even before my rookie year. I'm coming out of college. And the Super Bowl was in San Diego. So I signed with my agent, and he was like, look, Spice, I need for you to come down to the Super Bowl, and we're going to go meet some of these decision makers, GMs, and, everybody, so they can see you and you can kind of, network a little bit. So I was like, all right, cool. Me, and I'm being such a football head, I'm like, man, I don't really want to go. Like, I'm just trying to train and get in the game. But he was teaching me, like, nah, like, it's like you got to have a relationship with people. So go to this party, EA Sports. Everybody knows about the sports party. Everybody goes, and I'm like, I come in, I got my my sweater on. It gets a little cool in San Diego. I have my my little dress pants on and the little herringbone neck. I don't care. Anyway, but I walk in, bro, and I see you talk about the intimidation factor.
Yeah.
Like, I saw all of the guys, man. Like, like Jerry Rice, everybody. It was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I respect him. But the intimidation factor when I walked into the party and I saw my teenage crush, and her name was Lisa Turtle from Saved by the
Bell.
Oh my goodness! Oh, I didn't know you was going there, but I gotta tell you.
So what happened when you saw her, man? Oh my God, I can't believe this one,
bruh. I saw her and I was like, oh my God, that's her. And like, this is this, man, I used to sit back and watch reruns all the time.
I'm serious. Will you go to the prom with me?
Will I?
This is when you had the VCR, so you used to record that thing now. So when I saw her, I was like, oh shit, that ain't Lisa, that ain't her, man. Then I kept looking at Lark Voorhees, that's her real name, I think.
Yeah.
See how you see how it's going, right? So I was like, all right. So she kind of like looked at me, she saw me, and she kind of gave like a 2-second stare. I'm thinking, damn, like, shawty noticed me. So now I don't even drink at this point now, too. I'm going over to the drink thing, and they was like, yeah, what you want? I'm like, man, give me whatever. I just need something to settle down. So I get the drink, and I see her over at the desserts table. So I'm like, shit, I'm going to go over here too then. So I ease my ass over there and go to the dessert table. And I was like, bro, she looked at me and I froze.
Oh,
like I couldn't even talk, man. Like, I was so disappointed in myself. I'm disappointed in myself from back then now. So I was just like, she said, hey. I was like, hey, how are you? And she was like, I'm fine. She told me her name, and I was like, I couldn't even say that. And so she, I was like, I couldn't even say that, bro. Like, she had me, bro. I was like mesmerized, bro.
Yeah,
and so like, before I knew it, another dude came over. He started talking to her. And I'm gonna tell you how the night ended up, man. I remember walking away from that desserts table, and I was like, you fucking blew it, man. How could you? And I'm no lie. For the next 2 nights, I went around the city of San Diego trying to
find her.
Listen, everybody loves a good story of redemption. And I could not find her. Man, I went back to San Francisco, Oakland. That's where I was training. And, bruh, I could not live with myself. And so when you talk about a story of intimidation, I didn't shoot my shot. And from that day, I said, this will never, ever happen again. I felt like a loser, dog. I'm telling you. Now, I am the most optimistic person in the world, and I feel like I can get whatever I want if I set my mind to it.
So if your mind was set and you had the opportunity to say something back then, what do you think that young Takeo Spice would have said?
Oh, I probably would have went over there and just, I was like, look, man, you don't need to be picking up nothing. Tell me what you want. I'm going to get it for her. Let's go over in this corner and get to know each other better. That's what we're going to do. Like everybody else in here just trying to like feel each other out. We finna go meet each other and, get to know each other a little bit better because we deserve that. We do.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was going to go get her a drink. I was going to keep the drinks coming.
But it was an open bar. It was an open bar. You ain't doing nothing.
She didn't know that. She's a celebrity. You think she's going up there getting her drinks? No.
Facts.
I'm going to get her. And the conversation was going to be nice. Shout out to my boy Jonas Jennings. He taught me conversation rules the nation.
Yeah, it
I was
is.
about
Jonas,
to give it to her too.
Happy belated. Jonas just had a birthday too, for sure.
Yeah, shout out, homie.
That's hilarious, man.
So I blew it. Oh, what about you though? You got me airing out my dirty laundry.
Oh man.
Did you ever have a moment though?
I think we all have at some point. You know what I'm saying? Do I got to get into it?
Who? What was your moment?
All right.
Say it. Don't be. On the Behind the Mask podcast, there's only one rule. There are no rules. So say it.
I'm gonna run it. All right. So my crush, and this was in the league, and my celebrity crush. Not that I felt like I was gonna holler, but when I saw her, I was like, "Oh, she's gorgeous." To me, it was Alicia Keys. You know what I'm saying? She's from New York, beautiful voice. Alicia Keys. Yeah. How you looking? Exactly.
You saw Alicia Keys?
Hold up.
When you first got into the league.
No, this is the difference, because again, you into the league in the beginning, and you're about to go to the league, so you're about to find your way, etc. I saw her 10 years in, so when I was done. I think on the last episode we talked about how I was in New York with the Giants. I'm at home. I'm a New York native. Everything is going my way, and then I got released after week 1. So I didn't want to go out anymore because I'm like, why be on the streets when you cut and everybody's like thinking, Tu, you just had a great preseason, week 1, you got cut or whatever. So one of my guys was like, it was fashion week. So when the season starts, it's always New York City fashion week, right?
Yep.
So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and go out. Somebody got me some tickets. So I hollered at my man Scott the Animal from New York, another Southside legend. He's like, yo, I'll run with you to the fashion show. It was at the Gucci store, a flagship store in Manhattan. So we go in there, you see all these celebrities. They got, my name at the table. So I'm thinking like, and it's so hard to get in all of these events in fashion week. If you don't have a connect, or you're not somebody that's an A-list artist or whatever, or A-list celebrity, you're not getting in. So we walk in there, walk past the line. It's popping. Russell Simmons is in there at the time, Mary J. Blige, da-da-da. So they're like, yo, Tutan, we're going to go to Step and Repeat and take a picture. So I didn't want to do it because, again, they like, New York Giants, Tutan Reyes, but I'm no longer a New York Giants. So what's the point of me even going up there doing it? But they're like, yo, you got to do this.
But they didn't know.
They didn't know, though. They didn't, because it's literally like a day or two before, right? So I'm like, all right. Yeah. So I go up there, and as I'm going to the the velvet rope is there, the red carpet leading to the Step and Repeat. I'm stepping to the side, letting people come out, and the security guard is standing right there. He opens up the velvet rope, and Alicia Keys is coming out with her moms. And I'm standing right there, and we like walking, and we just eye to eye, and I'm just looking at her like, damn, that's Alicia Keys, yo. What you gonna do, too? So I'm talking to myself in my mind.
What did you do?
I'm sitting there looking at her. She looking at me. I'm looking at her. She looking at me. And then we at the velvet rope. But I got to be a gentleman, so I step to the side to let her go. And she looks at me and she smiles. And my eyes, I'm melting inside, bro. I'm talking about it getting flustered right now. And then she looks at me, and I have my chain on and everything. And she looked at me, looked at my chain, looked at me, and said, "Hey, how you doing?" I looked at her. I was like, started batting my eyes like, did this like, I'm okay. So the Flavor Plus size model just jumped up, and I looked down. I said, "I'm okay. How you doing?" And I looked up, and I swear, when I looked up, it was like she was singing, "You don't know my name." You don't know my name. And I swear, and I'm like, "Ooh." Look at all this is going through my head, and I'm sitting there like, Tutan, say something. Don't fuck this up, say something. And nothing else will come out, but the song is in my head, and that's it. And she's looking at me, and then she's like, all right, well, you have a nice day. And I was like, you too. And I just stared like nothing else could come out. She walks away. My dude Scott is behind me. He's like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. I know your big ass ain't just bat your eyes at Alicia Keys. I was like, no, I didn't. I didn't bat my eyes. He's like, yes, you did. I'm telling everybody from the hood, you batted your eyes. Like, who bats their eyes is a big ass 300-pound man. I was like, I didn't bat my eyes. I'm sitting there like, I didn't do that. He's like, everybody's walking off laughing. The security guard's laughing because he sees it. And I'm sitting there like, they're like, Tutan, do you want to take pictures? And I'm sitting there like, I don't want to take no pictures. I just want to leave. I'm like, I had my one moment. My man E used to say, you only get one shot at the title. You only get one shot
at the title, and you decided to bat your eyes like you got eyelashes on?
Man, you know how they be. That's how my joints was, bro. And I haven't seen her since. I know she's married, she's happy. Everybody's happy in their own space right now. That's a beautiful thing. But that was my celebrity moment when I was intimidated, and it shows you how, as these alpha males, as tough as we are, there's always either somebody that's close to us or somebody out there that can still get to intimidate.
Make you feel a little something in the inside.
Bring you back down to earth, yo. Bring you back down to earth, man. So
I could dig it. But let me ask you this though. Since you flipped it on me, I want to flip it on you. So now, knowing what you know now, and if you can go back in time and make that moment happen over again without blinking, batting your eyes.
Yo.
The young plus size model, the young AKA go getter. What would you say though?
Listen. First of all, at the time, I was dating somebody, and she also was in the music industry. So she knew I had a crush on Alicia Keys. So it was no possible way that even if I would have said something or tried to holler, I would have been in the wrong. It just wouldn't have never worked. It was nothing to do. I can't say, yo, you want to be friends. And I think she just started dating Swiss at the time. I don't know. But it was nothing for me to say. Like, I just wanted to be friends at the point. I just wanted to be cool with her, man.
Hi, my name's Tutan. I just want to be friends.
Listen. It was no line. It was no game. It was no nothing. Nothing came out. I can't go back and say, yo, let us keep in contact, or we, talk later or whatever when it's a little bit less crowded. Ain't nothing. It wouldn't matter. Trust me, it wouldn't matter, yo. But when you anybody listening, male, female, shoot your shot. When that time comes, if you have an opportunity, shoot the shot, yo, because you only get one shot at the title, and you don't ever want to look back like we looking back saying, damn, what coulda, shoulda, woulda been. Because man, if I was single at the time,
if you was what?
If I was single at the time, I don't even know what I would have said then. Honestly, I never thought about that.
So basically, that's what I'm blaming on. Why you saying you didn't say anything was because you were in a relationship.
No. The reason I ain't say nothing because I was scared. I was intimidated. I just thought, like, you don't think when you walk and you look up that the person that you had a crush on for years or you think is incredible is just staring you in your face. That's when does that ever happen? Like, timing is everything, divine intervention, but when does that happen to when that opportunity presents itself? So it's almost like they say you got to stay ready so you don't got to get ready. I wasn't ready.
Well, obviously, you didn't get ready.
Yeah.
So it
happens, man. It happens, man.
I might have to put you on a damn week-long suspension for that. Like, for real, though. You talking about you bad your eyes. Man, I
don't remember batting my eyes. I agree, and I don't think I did that. I think that was just like the exaggeration from somebody else. Ain't no way in hell I batted my eyes, man. Nobody do that. Come on, man. I
don't know, bro, but I'll tell you this, though. Looking back at it now, like, that's the first time I ever talked about that story.
Yeah.
Yeah, first time I ever talked about it. So I appreciate you making me bring that up.
No doubt.
Definitely did insight on yours too, though.
Was there ever another time where you redeemed yourself and you were just like, yo, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna shoot my shot, and I know, this is what it is.
Of course. Absolutely. I remember this one time. No, this is like dead ass straight up true. When after that happened, I said, never again will I ever be caught in a situation to where I'm not going to say anything or where I feel like I can't talk because I'm just nervous. Like, listen, I read the Michael Jordan quote. You will miss every shot that you don't take.
Right.
So for me, I'm like, man, I'm all in. I'm doing this. So I remember this one time I was on the plane and ran into this young lady. Yo, the shit was funny though, dog. It was funny because I remember one of my partners, like, he was on the plane too. We were going from Atlanta to LA. And he was married and he was sitting beside her. And I was like 2 rows up in first class. You know, we all were in first class. And I remember I was like, I sat down for a second. I was like, man, how this dude don't get there? How he don't sit beside her? So I sit down and dude, no lie, maybe 3 seconds, I just heard myself in my mind saying, don't you do this shit again. Get the fuck off the plane. Bro, I went back there and I said, look, oh, we got the wrong seat, bro. Like, you see mine says 5A right here and yours. Then he looked, when he looked at me, she wasn't looking. She was looking out the window. No, she was texting. So I was like, I kind of looked at him like that. And then he was like, all right, gone. So I pulled my shot.
Okay.
I did my shot, but long story short, it was I mean, thank God I had the bulletproof vest on, but we remained friends, so it was cool. I got something out of the deal.
Who was it?
The relationship.
Who was it?
No. She's moved on now. She's moved on now and she's married. Now, if I put this one out there, you know what I mean? It's like we ain't trying to dig up no stuff. And I am usually transparent for the breakfast too. But nah.
Oh, good. So you shot your shot though.
I shot my shot. I ain't had no regrets, bro. Your redemption. You have a redemption story.
After that, nah.
You do?
Nah, after that, I was cool. Like, nah. It wasn't no redemption story. It's like, I mean, I think that's the one. I'm not embarrassed. I'm not intimidated. I laugh at myself. I'm cool. Like, nah, I don't think that situation came up again. It came up one other time with somebody that, this might be something I need to kind of think about. I met Kerry Washington at a fundraiser. And that's another situation. Kerry Washington.
Okay.
And I met her at a fundraiser. That's what my brother introduced. My brother Ray introduced us. He had a fundraiser for his job, and she was the keynote speaker. But my nonprofit was getting Beyond the Burrows was getting honored at the event as well. So she spoke, did her thing, whatever. I spoke, and when she came down, they introduced us to take pictures and everything. And that's another situation. I was like, gosh, she's so gorgeous, man. And she started speaking and smiling, and
so you turned into the Statue of Liberty. Man.
Nothing came out, man.
Into the Statue of Liberty when you already had the Statue of Liberty.
This is after the league, yeah. This is, I don't know, man. So maybe it's me, man. Maybe I don't know.
So you know what? The moral of the story is this. For everybody that's listening, when you get an opportunity to shoot your shot, regardless of male, female, you shoot it because you never do know what's going to happen. Hey, man, sometimes people are in each other's lives for a reason. If you're lucky enough, it may happen even for a season. And if you're really lucky, unicorn status, maybe even a lifetime. So shoot your shot and then deal with regrets later.
Right. Only get one shot at the title.
Right on, bro. Tu, always a pleasure chopping it up with you, my dog.
You as well, family.
Right on.